Hi, my name is Maddie Kelly, and today I'm going to be discussing with you McCarthyism and the ways that different generations have reacted in times of mass hysteria. We're going to start off with McCarthyism, and you may be wondering, what is McCarthyism? It is a vociferous campaign against alleged communists in the U.S. government and other institutions carried out under Senator Joseph McCarthy in the period between 1950 and 1954. Many of the accused were blacklisted and lost their jobs, although most of them were not a part of the Communist Party. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take 3 different times of mass hysteria and compare them to the Salem witch trials. But while we're doing that, I have a question that I want you to think on. That question is, despite the lessons learned from the Salem witch trials, we have seen the damage of mass hysteria repeated. Why do societies throughout history continue to react irrationally in times of fear or panic? The first event we're going to be discussing is the Holocaust. The Holocaust is the mass genocide of European Jews during World War II. The Holocaust is the cause of death for nearly 6 million Jewish people. Judaism is the religion that they tend to follow, and they were all murdered by Adolf Hitler because of their religion and ethnicity. The Holocaust relates to the Salem witch trials because they both resulted in much devastation, and they were both fueled by people who wanted to overpower everyone else. Our next topic are the effects of September 11th, 2001. On this day, 19 Islamic militants aimed to attack the United States in a horrific way. Their goal was to take over planes and crash them into very populated areas during that time of the day on that day. 2 of the planes crashed into the World Trade Center in New York City. The 3rd plane crashed into the Pentagon, which sat outside of Washington, D.C., and the 4th plane was taken over by passengers when they realized what was going on. They took over and crashed it into a field in Pennsylvania, and by doing that, they all lost their lives, but they saved the lives of the people that the plane was intended to hit. The Salem witch trials and the deaths that they inspired were a result of fear, likely a fear of losing power. Similarly, many innocent Muslims were persecuted in the aftermath of 9/11 because Americans were scared and believed themselves to be losing power. Our last comparison is the COVID-19 pandemic. The first recorded case of the coronavirus was in December of 2019. The virus spread rapidly across the globe, and by March 5th, 2020, there were more than 95,000 cases worldwide. As of today, the U.S. has had 32 million reported cases and 540,000 reported deaths from COVID. Individuals who ignored the COVID-19 mandates also did not help to stop the spread of the virus. This resulted in the deaths of many Americans from COVID and its complications. These individuals are similar to the ones who stood by and watched the witch trials and let them continue while not doing anything about it, even though many Americans were dying. Now that we're done with that, I want you to go back to the question I asked earlier, which is, despite the lessons learned by the Salem witch trials, we have seen the damage of mass hysteria repeated. Why do societies throughout history continue to react irrationally in times of fear or panic? The answer that I have found to that question is this. Societies throughout history continue to react irrationally in times of fear or panic because they do not know the outcome of their situation. Their fear of the unknown oftentimes causes them to react badly in times of uncertainty.